Open your book to page 260. Today's lesson is about to simplify the product and quotients of binomials that contains radicals. So basically, you want to simplify fraction with radicals. So let's go to example 1. Okay, example 1, you have 3 minus square root of 5 over 3 plus square root of 5. Okay. Now, if you remember before, when you have for example, 3 over square root of 5, when you have only a square root on the bottom, to simplify, to get rid of this, you have to multiply by square root of 5 on the bottom, right? So that you get 2 of the same radicand to make into an integer on the bottom, right? But because you do that, you have to do the same on the top, right? So again, this is a quick review. So you end up with 3 square root of 5, right? So again, when you have only one term, you multiply by one term, right? But now, when you have 2 terms, you cannot just multiply by square root of 5 because it's not going to work, okay? Because if you try that, if you have 3 minus square root of 5 over 3 plus square root of 5, if you multiply by square root of 5, okay, what's going to happen to the bottom? You're going to end up with 3 square root of 5 plus 5. You're going to get stuck with a square root of 5. So it's not going to work, okay? So that's why when you have 2 terms, you cannot just multiply by square root of 5, okay? When you have 2 terms, you need to multiply by 2 terms. So again, if you have 1 term, you multiply by 1 term. If you have 2 terms, you multiply by 2 terms. And the terms that you need to multiply will be the conjugate. The conjugate means the sign will be opposite and everything else stay the same, okay? Now, this conjugate, it happens to be same as the top, but it's not because of this, okay? Don't worry about what's on the top. You just look on the bottom, okay? It just happened that this top is the same, okay? But it's not always the case. Actually, most of the time, it's not the same. So you just look at the bottom, okay? To get rid of square root of 5, you need to multiply by conjugate. Now, because you multiply by 3 minus square root of 5, you have to do the same on the top, okay? Now, whenever you work this, right, you always work out the bottom first. Okay, always work out the denominator first because sometimes you can cancel with the top, and so it's not as messy. Okay, so that's going to work out the bottom. Again, when you multiply the conjugate, you just apply the FOIL method, right? But the O and the I will cancel out. That's the reason for using the conjugate. So when you multiply the conjugate, you end up just multiplying the corresponding parts. So 3 times 3 give you 9. Plus times minus is minus. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. Okay? And so this will give you 4. So that's nothing to cancel with the top. So just go and multiply the top then. Okay? So again, you want to work out the bottom first, because if you see that the denominator can cancel with something on the top, then do not multiply out the top. Just leave it, and you can cancel out with it. But notice it cannot cancel anything, right? So go and multiply. So that's going to use the FOIL method. So 3 times 3 is 9 minus 3 square root of 5 minus 3 square root of 5 plus 5. Combine the like terms, you're going to get 14 minus 6 square root of 5. And notice you can reduce by 2. So reduce everything by 2, so you're going to get 7 minus 3 square root of 5 over 2. Now when you reduce, okay, remember there are 3 parts. So make sure you reduce all 3 parts. Students have tendency to just cancel out this and not doing the last part over here. Okay, so make sure you reduce all 3 parts. Okay, let's go to example 2. So this is evaluation of the function. So you got f of x is equal to x plus 1 over x. And you want to evaluate f of square root of 3 plus 2. So again, whenever you try to evaluate function, right, you write your function first, and then you write what you want to evaluate below it, so you can line things up and you can just matching it up. Okay? So what it's saying is that whenever you see the x, you're going to change it into square root of 3 plus 2. That's what evaluation of function is. So again, whenever you see the x, you change into that. So come over here. So again, whenever you see x, you change into that. Okay? Whenever you see the x, you're going to change into whatever you're going to evaluate. Right? Everybody see that? So again, when you see x, change into that. When you see x, you change into that. When you see x, you change into that. And then after that, you can go ahead and evaluate. So this one will give you square root of 3 plus 3 over square root of 3 plus 2. Okay? But you're not allowed to have a square root, on a denominator for your final answer. So you have to simplify these. So you can multiply by your conjugate. Okay? Just put out parentheses. So let's work out the bottom first. Maybe we can cancel something else. So you're going to get 3 minus 4. Okay? So you're going to get negative 1. So nothing to cancel. Let's go so that we can go and multiply on the top. So you can use your FOIL method. So this will give me 3 minus 2 square root of 3 plus 3 square root of 3 and minus 6. So this will give me minus 3 and this will give me plus 3 square root of 3. Okay? But you don't want to keep the negative down here, right? So this becomes positive 3 minus 3 square root of 3. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Double check. Okay, this is 3.
Negative 2 plus 3.
Oh. There you go. Thanks, sorry. Mistakes. Okay, so there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're good. Yeah, but normally you don't need to write 1. Okay, so let's get rid of these. Okay. Okay, but the key concept is multiply by conjugate, okay, to get rid of the square root. Okay? Okay, so let's go and do some practice. Okay.